This is a disclaimer stating that the procedures that are about to follow have not been verified to see if they are actually safe. Hello, owners of the HP Reverb G2 headset. This is a video about how you could possibly make a less cumbersome power supply. So here's the unit, here the headset, which I really like. One important thing is you have to make sure this is all the way docked in. If it's not plugged in completely, it just won't work. Then it has this real long cable that has everything in it. And then it comes up to this junction box. And this junction box includes USB-C for connectivity, DisplayPort, because this really does suck up a lot of GPU. It's definitely takes up more GPU than regular video games. And then the power supply. So here's the power supply. It's just a barrel connector, HP. So it's a 45 watt power supply, and you all are probably aware that these are very voltage independent. The main thing is that you have enough current, but it can operate on many different types of voltages. And here is the, this is for 110 in the United States. So I found that this cable setup here, it plugs into here. Into right here. But this is kind of cumbersome. You have all this heavy transformer and it's not at the plug. It's midway. It doesn't really work. So just by chance, I was looking at Amazon and I found out about the barrel connector, that they have a Hewlett-Packard barrel connector, and it's designed to take over for the power supply for a laptop. And so it's a charging adapter, and the barrel, it's a barrel connector. It goes to USB-C. And if you look here, it's blue and the same size. So this is for laptops, and it does mimic this connector one for one. So I thought, well, if you can charge a laptop, maybe you can charge this device. So I got this right here, which is this thing. It's a 4.5 millimeter laptop charging adapter. So the 4.5 millimeter is key because that will differentiate between the voltages. And then I got this USB-C cable, and I kind of did overkill, so I'd make sure that this did not have an issue. So I definitely did not need a USB-C cable this good, but I went ahead and got a Thunderbolt 4. And then the important thing, I think, is the wall charger, because I did use some smaller, weaker ones and it absolutely did not work. But this one works pretty well. It's kind of expensive, but it definitely does the trick. So anyway, when I have it installed, then it will absolutely work. So here's the headset connected to the new power supply, which still goes into the junction box here, but instead uses a USB-C cable and then comes down to this wall charger. It's a pretty powerful one. And I can tell you it absolutely will work, and it works the same as having this old, bulky, and rather cumbersome power supply. So I've gone ahead and sheathed the product, and this is the barrel laptop adapter. It's a USB-C cable, and then I put it in this 1/2 inch sheath with twist ties, and it comes out here with the charging, the USB-C connector, and the DisplayPort. To make sure that I know which one goes into the computer and which goes into the wall, just to help me out, I put electrical tape on the end of here and also on the end of here. So that means, to me, it'll remind me that it's for the electrical source. And then, because I don't want to plug this into the computer and this into the power supply, because then it just won't work. But anyway, I think that this is, for me, easier to use than to have the transformer always falling around when I would move around the room. Anyway, if this is helpful at all, it's pretty easy to put together. Here's the sheathing. 1/2 inch sheathing works. Here's the power supply. Now, I had to get this expensive Thunderbolt 4 cable because it is 4 feet. So that's the hard thing, is to find a USB-C cable that's 4 feet, because that's what length it needs to be. And here is the whole thing that makes it possible, is they have this charging adapter which has the barrel connector that works for Hewlett-Packard devices. Anyway, I find that this is a lot easier to use. The previous part of the video just showed how you can change the power supply. This part just shows my own particular hookup. I usually don't have the VR hookup all the time because it does take up a lot of space. So instead what I did was I have these extensions coming out of the back. So you probably know that the motherboard I/O panel has better statistics than the case ones. And this is Alienware R11, and it just shows you that the back and out USB-C is a 3.2 generation 2, while the case USB-C is only generation 1. So I don't know if it would make a difference, but I put that in also. Since I was at it, I went ahead and put a USB extension in. And so I plugged it in the back of the I/O panel, and also have the extension for the power supply, and then sheathed it, and then it's fairly attractive. I could have done a lot better. And then here are the connectors. This USB, you just can ignore. I just put that in because it's something to do. Now there are 2 USB-C connectors, and to make sure I keep straight which is which, I put the electrical tape on the one that's going to get the electrical supply. So this goes into the I/O panel, the motherboard. This goes into the wall power supply, and this is a DisplayPort extension. And so I plug it in here and it works just fine.